Hi, and welcome to this screencast which will show you how to make a simple form using Ext Designer. We'll start up in the toolbox by adding a form panel. Next we need a few text fields, one for name and one for email, and we need a date field for date of birth, and finally we need a button for submitting the form. Next we'll configure our elements. We'll set the ID of the form panel to my form panel. We'll set an URL in the form panel. We'll use form handler.php, which is the script that will actually handle the request. Next we'll set the name of our input fields. Name. For the name, we'll put a label on the name field, which will be name, and we'll add a label here too, which will be email, and we need a name for this field too, called email. The date field will add name, date of birth, or DOB, and a label called date of birth. Next we need to configure the button. We need text on the button. We'll add post form, and we'll set an ID which will be post button. Next up we will save our project. We need to remember to export the project. Remember that the exported files are located where you have your project XTS file. First we'll just try to FTP the files to a server where we can run our script, run our test. Copying. And open up a browser of your choice, and here you will see the form we have built. Nothing happens as expected. Okay, let's go back to Eclipse or your favorite editor. I'll refresh my workspace, and the files exported from Ext Designer is located here. The file we are going to edit now is myform.js. Open the file, and you see, if you read the header, that this is the file where you shall implement event handling and custom methods. What we need to do now is we will add an event or attach an event to the button. Okay, this dot find by ID. What did we call the button? Was it post button, I think? Dot on click, function call, button, and event as parameters. Okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, let's just save this by now, and we need to do a little thing here. We'll add Ext get component. We'll find the form panel, which we call my form panel. We use the get form method on the form panel, and finally submit. Okay, save your files, and I'll FTP into my server again for a small test. Yes. And refresh, and we have the same form test email. We'll add a date of birth. And if we now hit post form, you will see that an actual post is made. If you have Firebug or something, you will see it down here. But this is a 404 because the form handler.php does not exist. Let's have a little look at the documentation for the form panel. As you might notice, I used a method called getForm. Let me find it here. GetForm, which actually just gives us access to the form, or the basic form. And the basic form has a method called submit, which we are going to call. And you can put some options, an option object, into the submit method, which we will need. Here is the success and the failure handling of the form submission. I'll just copy this and go back to my editor. I'll add the config object. I think that was correct, yes. Okay, let's save this and FTP it to our server again. Copy. Yes. Just have a quick look at this. It says that if the form submit is a success, the following code is to be called, and if it's a failure, it checks the failure type and produces different error messages. Okay, let's try to run this and see how it looks. I'll just do a post form without filling in any fields. And you see it tries to post and you get a nice error message. Ext communication failed because we have a non-existing form handler PHP. Okay. Let's go back to Eclipse and we'll add the form handler PHP file. New other form handler.php. Okay, closing PHP tag. I'll just copy the code from where I used it earlier, paste it in, and I'll save. What this code does is actually just some validation, and if there are errors, it shall return a success false and the error message. If the validation is okay, it just returns a success true and a form posted successfully message. Let's FTP this form handler PHP file to our server. Let's see how this goes. And refresh again. Okay, I'll try to do a post form without filling in any fields. Ooh. Still Ext communication failed. There's a type error here. Let's go back to Ext Designer, find our form panel and find the URL. See, it's a form handler. We need a form handler. Yes, we'll save the project and we'll export it again. We'll FTP the files. And we'll try to run the script again. And let's see how this goes. Yep, former, another typo. Let's go back again. And let me see if I can do it right this time. Form handler .php. Okay. Export project again. FTP file, and back and refresh, and I'll try to do a post. Error validating submitted data. Please specify name, email, date of birth. And as you see, the form is now submitted and hits the form handler successfully. We'll fill in name, test, and we'll add a date of birth, and we'll do the post form, and form posted successfully. That was it, and I wish you the best of luck with your Ext Designer coding.